Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. If you are enjoying these, please do hit like and subscribe. Today, I'm continuing with part 2 of my conversation with actor Peter Fox, who played the Reverend Hank Buchanan in Season 6 and Season 7 of The Waltons. So please welcome back Peter Fox. To backtrack for a moment, you mentioned having the pleasure of working with John Huston. Any particular takeaways from that?
Gosh, I've had the pleasure or the experience of meeting some really greats. Working with Houston was one. Pele was a great guy, not a great actor, but a great guy to be with. I got to know Jack Lemmon pretty well. And the takeaway that I got was that these guys had gotten so much fame, dealt with it, got beyond it. In my experience, Houston and Jack were had gotten beyond the thing that fame does to people, which is horrible in my opinion. So he was very nice to me, and he had an autobiography out that I asked him to sign, and he wrote a beautiful, with great respect and admiration, dear friend John Huston, which he didn't have to write that, but he did, and just showed me that there was a human being behind that star. Of course, nowadays, if you tell younger kids, "Hey, I worked with John Huston," they're like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, right.
"Who's John Huston?" Like, really? Okay, well, maybe someday you'll find out. But yeah, it was a thrill to be around both he and Pele. So this was like 1986. And the movie starred Houston, Pele, and me. Pele at that time in the world was, next to the Pope, the most recognizable person on the planet because of obvious, he was the soccer god, perhaps of all time. However, we got to be friendly, and he said, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, great, let's go to dinner." We're shooting in San Diego. We went to this nice restaurant on the harbor there. And so here I'm sitting having dinner with Pele, talking, and his assistant who's there, and maybe someone else. But nobody notices this guy. The second, maybe the most recognizable guy on the planet. But because it's 1986 and soccer had not taken off in the United States, it was just, there's just another guy here. So at the end of the dinner, I look around, nobody knows who Pele is. Look back at the kitchen door, and stacked on top of each other like the Three Stooges are 3 busboys, guys from Mexico, and they are just, oh my. I mean, you could just see on their face, they could not believe who this was 20 feet from them. And of course, Pele gets up and goes over, chats with them, signs stuff for them, and then comes back in the restaurant where nobody else knows him. But that was quite an experience. And Houston, just daily being with him was a delight. All those guys that I mentioned, Jack Lemmon as well, sweetheart of a guy who, got past that fame thing and could relate to you. It's just a guy, I have another story about Jack if you want to hear it.
Yes, love to.
So this was after, this is like mid 70s. I go to the Huntington Harvard Theater on Vine, and Lily Tomlin was doing her one-woman show there. And so I go down, I stand in line. There's a long line winding up to the ticket booth. And so I get in line, and it starts to drizzle. So people put up a umbrella, and maybe 4 or 5 people gather under an umbrella. And as you're winding up, you're chatting with each other. So they're like, "Oh, hey, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah." Came to me and they said, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm an actor." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, what restaurant do you work at?" And that was the nature of the conversation and it was fun. They were doing it in good fun. Sure, you're an actor, really? Gee, you don't see many of them around here. Blah blah blah. So as they're giving me a hard time, good naturedly, Jack walks by on Vine. I don't know where he was going, but he walks by. And I had just done Airport 77 with him and gotten to know him fairly well. We both went to the same college. We both did stuff back then similar. And so I got to know him. He walks by. Everybody looks over there, and Jack looks at me. He goes, "Hey, Foxy, how you doing?" I went, "Excuse me, guys. Got to go talk to Jack. Hold my place, will you? I'll be right back." It's like one of those, thank you. Those things don't happen enough where these people's just like, yeah, I got to go talk to Jack. I'll be right back. Stories like that are few and far between, but they're great.
Yeah. Well, how did you come to get into acting in the first place? Was it something you planned for?
This is an interesting, no, I did not come. I grew up north of Chicago, Wilmette, Illinois. And I went to college back east and then came to California after I graduated, not knowing what I wanted to do. My brother lived there. My sister was up in Berkeley. Never been to California. The point of the story is I didn't come here to be an actor at all. I had done a little bit in college. There were 8 of us growing up in Wilmette, and my mom, since there wasn't enough money, she got all of us doing modeling jobs for Sears and Montgomery Ward, who were all based in Chicago. Consequently, at 10 years old, I got a TV commercial. I got a SAG card. Had no intention of being an actor. Really didn't. And showed up here and in the fall of 72. And by the summer of 75, I was starring in a Paramount movie. Not having come here to do that. How does that happen? Well, that was my fate. And did I have anything to do with it? Yeah, it's something to do with it. I showed up, and if an opportunity came my way, which it did, "Hey, do you want to be in this movie?" I said, "Okay, yeah." That's how it started. And when I tell people, "Hey, I didn't come here to do this at all," they they don't really believe that story, and I don't blame them. But that's the truth. I first real job I got was a lead in this movie that Paramount bought. How does that happen? I mean, that's one in a million, really. And then the Waltons came after that, and then the ball started rolling. So I felt a little bit like, boy, am I lucky? But some feel a little bit like a fake here. So what I did was I joined a theater company to say, okay, prove it, prove that you're an actor. Let's see what you got. And that was I'm glad I did that because I wound up staying with that company for 16 years and did a lot of real theater acting to basically prove to myself, yeah, okay, you've earned it by now. So that's pretty much my acting story. My literal start happened at Mr. Chow's in Beverly Hills. Were you ever at Mr. Chow's? It's a really high-end Chinese industry hangout place on Rodeo Drive. And I went in and applied to be the bartender there. At that time, I was new to California. I was parking cars. I was doing odd jobs, not knowing, I don't know what I'm doing, but here I am. Went in there, applied for the bartender job, got it, had never been a bartender. So spent 3 just terrifying days on the job making drinks for these, celebrities and people who expected a bartender to be good, especially at this restaurant. And I made a drink, Gin Ramos Fizz, for this guy. On his way out, he said, "Hey kid, good job with that Gin Ramos Fizz." "Well, thanks." Other waiter comes up. He said, "Do you know who that was?" And I, "No." His name was William Cunningham. He owned probably the biggest commercial agency in LA at the time, Cunningham and Associates. He and maybe one other were the top agencies for commercials. And so since I didn't want to be a bartender my whole life, and I had a SAG card, I made my way to his office, got in to see him, because in those days you could get in to see somebody without going through a metal detector, and all the things that happen now. Got into him. "Hey, remember me?" He said, "No." He said, "I made you that Gin Ramos Fizz a couple of days ago." He says, "Oh yeah, what's up?" I said, "Well, you want to send me out? I got a SAG card. What do you say? Would you like to send me out on commercials?" And he's like, "I don't know. I got a bunch of guys in your category." And I said, "Okay, well." Then I either said or he said, I think he says, "I'll tell you what, I'll send you out for 2 weeks. If you click in 2 weeks, we'll see." A couple of days later, he sent me out on a commercial for Certs. Remember those mints?
Mm-hmm.
Two mints in one.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I went out on, and it was shot in New York, so they had to fly me out there first class, put me up, shoot the commercial, fly me, and whatever. Back then, I had a certain look and a certain, I don't know, confidence or whatever. So I started booking commercials fairly regularly, and that's ultimately how I got that Paramount movie, because someone knew somebody who used to see this kid or whatever. And so that's literally how my career happened. Just, it was my fate or destiny or whatever to come here and have these things happen. And it amazed me to be in the middle of it, really, to be just, man, what is that? Why? How come I'm sitting across from, here's another short story. I did Airport 77. That's where I met Jack Lemmon. Dropping names. Where I met Jack.
Go ahead, drop names. I love
Jack
it.
Lemmon. Yeah.
It gives my show cachet when I have people who know people who,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Only the best on my YouTube here.
I hope so. So that Airport 77, there's a plane that crashes in the ocean and sinks. That's the plot. And we're supposed to get this out. I played the head of the Navy SEALs. First day on the job, the cast was to meet at this ferry, the small ferry, to take us out to this battleship out in the Pacific that we were shooting on that day. So I get myself ready, get down to this ferry, get in there, sit down, and I'm sitting across from Jimmy Stewart, Jack Lemmon, Olivia de Havilland, Joseph Cotton, what was it, Brenda Vaccaro. But I mean, just those first three, Lemmon, Stewart, and Olivia de Havilland. And I literally was like, how did this happen? And once again, it happened. And do I deserve a pat on the back for it? I showed up. I did my best, but I could have told you 10 other guys who studied acting their whole life and blah 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 and whatever, who didn't get this part that I got. Obviously, I was meant to get it, and I've acknowledged that my whole life. I don't take much credit for the good fortune I've had, including, of course, hey, you want to be on the Waltons? Yeah, let's do that now. Doesn't pay a lot. Okay, well, that's okay. It's the 70s. Things didn't cost a lot back then.
You've sort of expanded from just acting and from what things you've shared with me. You have then moved into both writing and directing and art,
Yes, I have something right here. Here's a piece of my art. So I started to do artwork when I first moved up here to Ojai almost 20 years ago. And I've been in a bunch of galleries and had a show at the Ventura Museum, and it's a creative outlet valve. Since I'm not driving down to Hollywood anymore to get any of those gigs, I decided that's not happening, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I started to make things. Found object art is what it's called, and it's great. I love it. And the other thing was when I got involved with that theater company in LA, it was the Alliance Repertory Company. I wound up being the artistic director there.
Oh.
And it was just the most creative, smart thing for me to do as an artist, prove to myself, whatever. But I also, at one point, started writing a play. And this is the play that got published by the Samuel French Company, which is a Rolls-Royce company for play publishing. Once again, did I come here to be a playwright? No. But, I guess you just follow your path where it goes and be open to certain things. And so I wrote this thing, and it was a big hit in LA in the equity waiver world. And I got a call one day. Is it Peter Fox? Says, yeah, this is so-and-so from Samuel French. We'd like to publish your play. I was like, who is this really? Yeah. No, seriously, who are you? And it was one of those calls you rarely get a call like, do you want to be on the Waltons, or would you like us to publish your play? They happen once every, 18 years, whatever. So that was just one of those phone calls like the Waltons that you never forget. So yeah, I do art. I write stuff. I'm about to perform in Ojai at this. This is the Art Center of Ojai, which is the oldest multidisciplinary nonprofit art center in California. It's their 85th anniversary, and they asked me to write a fundraiser show for them. So I'm doing that on July 28th and performing in it. So
awesome.
Try and stay busy here in Ojai. And I did keep this picture. This is the Ojai magazine, Ojai Quarterly, it's called. This one picture. It's a great shot, one of my favorite shots of me and Will.
Oh, from that article?
Yeah.
I love that article about the way your life has just sort of gone in so many different directions, and I think that can be the life of an artist. So these days you're doing your artwork, and you're creating this fundraiser, and what keeps you
what has kept me busy was the artwork. When I first moved here to Ojai, there's a school here. There are 17 private boarding schools in California. 5 of them are in Ojai, which is really, so it's like the home of these esoteric private boarding schools. I worked at one as a fundraiser. I really enjoyed my time there. So that kept me busy for quite a while. And then I did a little more of that kind of work. And in the meantime, I did 2 Christmases of It's a Wonderful Life at the Art Center here in Ojai. Got to play George Bailey twice.
Oh.
So not only did I meet Jimmy Stewart and get to act with him, I got to play that part for a couple of Christmases. And they've done I've written a couple of plays. They've done both of them here. And so I've been involved on that scene, a little bit of the art scene. Rest of the time, I'm down here waking up every day saying, what am I going to do for the next 16 hours every day? So that's a challenge.
Thank you for joining me for this final segment of my chat with actor Peter Fox. I will be back and joining you again with more behind the scenes of the Waltons, special guests, questions in an Ask Judy segment, and who knows what else. Thanks for watching.